Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. Before I start narrating the confession that I have for you, I kindly ask you to just like the video. How is your weekend? There is a message that we received that I'm going to be sharing with you, and the message it reads like this. Hello, how are you? Can you please post my story? As anonymous, I'm a South African woman. I dated a Nigerian guy only for a very brief period of time, and what I saw at his house made me to quietly walk away. But then I got a stroke, and I don't know where this stroke came from. I failed to recover. I use a wheelchair to this very day. This was after he gave me money so that I can sleep with him. I really do not know how to start my story, but I will try to explain it to you so that everyone can understand. This is a secret that I only told my sister, who has since passed away. So there is no one really who knows where this stroke came from. I'm a South African woman and I am in my late 30s right now. My story, it was in 2011, but the real damage showed itself later on, and that is what scares me and how delayed it was. Back then, I was working at Clicks, the pharmacy. It was just a normal job that I had, a normal life. I was never a slave queen. I never chased soft life in my entire life. As a matter of fact, I had been dating a guy. So this guy, there was a little bit of trouble between me and him. Like, he was very tribalistic, and his family as well. When I was taken to KZN for the introductions, I saw that they did not like me because I am Pedi and he was Zulu. He then was transferred. He was working for Sasol, and then he went to Mozambique. When he was working in Mozambique, when he came back, he gave me an STI, even though he said that maybe it was bad hygiene. And I said, whose bad hygiene are you talking about? He refused to go with me to the clinic. He just gave me money, and I ended up going to a private doctor, and I got some medication. And by the private doctors, they don't ask a lot of questions. At the clinic, they will tell you to bring your partner. So after I had been treated, then we started fighting because I still wanted to know where this STI had came from, and the family drama and everything. This made the situation to be very uncomfortable for me because they were like, I am the one that brought the STI. He had spoken with his mom, and his mom already hated me, and she saw it as a chance to destroy her son's relationship. And because of that STI, I think this is why I ended up having a miscarriage. And also because of the stress, I was living in a highly stressful relationship, and then we broke up. And because of that, I was just tired. I did not want to date anymore. And this guy, we had dated for a very long time. I met him when he was jobless. I even gave him advice that if you try to apply to different companies all at once, do not get tired. Just keep on dropping CVs, sending emails. You'll get a response one way or the other. And then the response came, he got tired. And when he started earning, that was when he forgot about me, started dating other women. So I said, the next relationship that I'm going to enter into, I'm not going to fall for a guy who is broke, who has no money, who is jobless. Because once a man has money, then he's going to forget about you. I said, I just want a man who has money, who can take me to places where I want to go to. I was tired of dating broke guys, tired of dating men who made promises and then will just skip and disappear, like what my boyfriend had done to me. And that was when I met him. So this guy, he used to come to the shop where I was working at Clicks. He was always nice. And then he started talking with me. He would ask me questions that were not really serious. How is work? Do you enjoy working here? He once asked me, do you enjoy standing all day? When he came to the till, like we were not busy on that day, we started talking and he laughed and he said, a beauty like you're not supposed to be standing all day. And I said, what am I supposed to be doing? And he said, just relaxing with your husband. And I said, I don't have a man. And he said, well, you are looking at one who is a bachelor, who is looking for love. At first, I really did not want to date this guy. And then he started waiting for me after my shift. He would bring me food such that people thought that we were dating. He would give me lift money. He would come to the shop where I was working, take me to the taxi rank and give me lift money. Sometimes he would just give me cash and say, oh, I'm sorry, today I could not buy you lunch. Buy yourself something. At that time, I felt like this guy was very kind and he was very romantic and loving. He told me that he was into a business of import and export. I did not ask much. I did not want to sound like a desperate gold digger or suspicious. I started falling in love slowly but surely. We dated for 4 months, and let me say this clearly, there was no intimacy in those 4 months. No sex, nothing like that. That is why I trusted him, because we would go out for a date. If he wanted, he could have taken me to his place, but I would tell him that I'm not yet ready to go to his place because I was still healing in my heart. I did not want to just jump into this relationship with my legs wide open. After 4 months, one day he became direct with me. This was after we had gone to watch a movie. When he was taking me back to the location where I was staying at that time, he then said, my love, it has been a long time. I am a man and I do have needs. And I was like, so you promised me that if we date, you are going to wait for me until I'm ready. I am not yet ready to sleep with you or to sleep with any man. And he said, but I am a man. I don't want to end up cheating on you. That was when I felt my heart banging so hard across my chest because I had never thought about it. So I did not want to just roll over. I pretended as if I still wanted to wait at least for a couple of more months before I could sleep with him. So he then said, when we were at the gate of the house where I was renting, I'll give you 20k if you sleep over at my house. And I said, 20k, this was like in 2011. It was a lot of money, guys. And 20k to just sleep with my man, a man that I had been dating for 4 months, whom I had seen that he meant me no harm. He was someone that was very good with me. He loved me. He loved my family. And then I said, okay, I can come and sleep over at your house, but no sex. And he said, okay, it's fine, no sex. We'll just have a sleepover. We then arranged, we were going to sleep over at his place Friday. Then I would come back home on Sunday. And then my heart started beating so fast, I won't lie. 20k was a lot for me then. The money could change a lot of things. I would have some breathing space if I was going to get this money. And I also wanted sex by then because it had been a long time, even though I had been pretending as if I was strong, but I felt it deep down in my heart that the time was right. This was the correct time for me to sleep with him, for he had proved himself to me. And then we planned, and then I went to his house. But throughout the whole week, when I was speaking with him, I would ask questions like, you don't have to do anything with me, right? Like you promised me that we are not going to sleep with each other. And he would be like, yes, you will just stay with me and we can just chill, we can cuddle, we can watch movies, we can talk about our future. And when you are ready, then it's fine, we can sleep with each other. All that I want is for you to come to my place so that at least I can know that I have a girlfriend. This thing of us just going for dinner dates, then we spend the time chilling in the car in front of the house where you are staying. I feel as if I am not your boyfriend. So I understood his situation, and when the Friday came, I was so excited and I was nervous at the same time because it had been a very long time and this was going to be like the first day ever going to see the place where he was staying. He picked me up on that Friday night after my shift, and then he took me to his place. He stayed in a gated community. It was so nice. When we entered into that gated community, the cars that I saw, some people are living a nice life. I'm scared to tell you the place where he is staying. This night, it was just a normal night. We ate, we watched TV, and then he started touching me. I tried to resist, but when we went to bed, like I was in the mood, I was pretending as if I was not, but my body gave in and something happened. We slept together. Saturday morning, and then we woke up. When we woke up, he started cooking. I even assisted him. He was cooking jollof rice for his brother who was going to be traveling on the road, so he wanted a home cooked meal. So he came and he collected it at around 10 a.m. Since we had been in bed since morning, going to the kitchen, doing like whatever, I then went to bath, because soon after that I wanted to return back home because my cousin was going to come to the location where I was staying. So I wanted to see him, and my boyfriend, I had spoken with him about it and he had understood. So as I was bathing, after bathing, I realized that I did not bring body lotion, and then I wrapped a towel and I walked to look for lotion. I did not find one. I did not want to go outside because I was embarrassed to meet his brother and they were talking. So I started opening doors, just looking for lotion, and I could not find any lotion in the bedroom. This was quite strange. So as I was opening the doors, there was one room. It was just like a normal bedroom, and it was closed. I opened it up, and immediately I nearly collapsed. I felt my legs getting weak, because when I opened it up, I thought that it was just a normal bedroom with a bed, but it was empty, but it had curtains on the walls. These were red curtains, and there was a mirror as well that was on the wall. It was a big mirror, and in the middle of that room there was a coffin. This was like a clean coffin, not an old dusty coffin, but a clean, polished, like it was new, as if it had been made just yesterday. I froze. My eyes started just seeing things that were not there. I saw a vision of a woman that woke up and she got outside of that coffin. But this woman, what surprised me was that she did not have her left breast. It had been cut and she disappeared. And when I was seeing this vision, my legs felt weak. I felt like I was not fully inside my body anymore. I did not touch it. I did not open it. I did not scream. I just stood there, then slowly closed the door. I found the lotion, surprisingly, in another room that I had entered, but my hands were shaking so much that I spilled it even on the bed. I was in the bedroom by then. When he came back, I tried to act normal because I thought that this man is going to kill me and put me inside that coffin. And the vision that I had seen of that woman that had her breast cut, so I was so scared. I acted normal and I was shaking all over the place. And then I just chose that if I was going to walk out of that house, this will be the end of the relationship. I left that house quietly. I did not fight him. I did not confront him. I even kissed and hugged him and even sat on his lap since he was in the living room. I did not ask any questions and I said, baby, I want to go. He gave me the money, the 20K, and then he took me to the place where I was staying. Just when I arrived, I called my friend and I told my friend that I was looking for a room, and this was in the middle of the month. I quickly got a room, but on the other side of the location, and I went and I started staying there. And as for my landlord, I told him that I was going to pay for at least 2 months since I had some money. I was so scared. I left work. I asked for leave so that I can go home. And then I just went home and I just relaxed in Limpopo. And I blocked this guy, changed numbers, and I was even scared to return back to Joburg. I told myself that I had escaped something that was dangerous. And when I returned back to work, I never saw this guy again. He did not come to that cliques where I was working like ever again. It was as if he had never existed, like this whole thing had played in my mind. I thought it was the end. It was not. Life continued. About 1 year later, I noticed that there was a small wound that was on my ankle on the left side. It did not hurt. It just did not heal. I saw it when I was at work, like I had a small wound on my ankle. So since I had been busy packing on that day, I thought that maybe I had hit the corner of a box and hurt myself. But I was like, I did not feel any pain. So what really happened here, I could not understand. I said it is going to heal. It did not heal. This infection kept on going deep, like the wound started getting deep, and it will get so painful whenever I'll be feeling cold or when I'll be bathing. Used some bandages. It did not even help. And I went to the clinic and I was told that it was infection. Went to the pharmacy and I was given some creams but did nothing. Then came the seizure. First time it happened when I was back home in Limpopo. I collapsed whilst I was at home, and then I was taken to the hospital. I was confused, like I had never had so much confusion in my entire life. I could not even remember where I was, whom I was. I stayed at the hospital for a couple of days and then I was discharged. Just when I was discharged, the moment that we arrived home, I started vomiting again. Then another seizure came back. The same guys that had once taken me with their ambulance, those were the people that picked me up. They were even surprised. It was that same seizure. So whenever these seizures were happening, I would urinate on myself. I would even poop on myself. I stayed in the hospital again, and I was told that it was epilepsy. But in our family, after they had asked me if there was any history of epilepsy, no, there had never been any history in the family, which meant that I was the first one in the family to have ever had such seizures and epilepsy. It was quite embarrassing. I was even scared to walk on my own. You can imagine, you are in a taxi, then you have this seizure, then you lose control and you urinate on yourself, then you poop on yourself. As a grown-up person, it is something that is quite terrible, and you start to hate yourself for being like that. And I never connected the dots that all of these things, they came from the Nigerian guy that I had slept with. He had used me for his rituals. I could not even think of it like it was a closed chapter in my life. I had totally forgotten about him. By then, I was dating another guy from my own tribe. He was also Pedi, and I just did not understand what the hell was happening with me. I was depressed. I stopped going to work. There was no more reason for me to stay in Joburg anymore. Returned back home. My mom even thought that maybe there was someone that had bewitched me at work. But when I look at the people that I was working with at that time at Clicks, there was no one really who had the intentions of getting me fired or getting me to have these seizures, because we all were happy with the positions that we had, and life was treating us okay, even though we were not making a lot of money, but at least we were earning a dignified salary. So whenever my mom will be like, maybe there is someone who bewitched you at work, I know that they bewitched you at work, I could not even find any meaningful reason as to why someone at my workplace will end up bewitching me. I started to have terrible nightmares. I once had a dream where I was being dragged by a man. Later on, I discovered that this man that had been dragging me in my dreams, it was that same Nigerian boyfriend of mine, but at that time, I really did not manage to see his face because he was hiding behind a very dark cloud whenever he would visit me in my dreams. When I was in the ambulance the second time around, I felt like I was drifting away, and I saw a man that came into the ambulance, but it was being driven at a high speed because they were rushing me to the hospital. By then, I was like unconscious, but I felt that there was someone that entered into the ambulance, and this man came and touched me on my ankle where that small wound was, and it was deep. And that person touched me and quickly disappeared, and I could not feel my leg anymore. I was admitted into the hospital, and then came the stroke. I felt that my right hand side, it started getting weak, like I could not feel myself. That was the most traumatizing event of my life. I can say that to die is better than to have a stroke, because you know that you have a part of your body but you can't feel it anymore. I don't know how to describe this to someone that has never had a stroke before. So I started to get weak, an arm, leg, and my face, it slightly drooped, and right now my speech, it gets slurred for a while. I can't communicate properly, but I can do other things, and I want to thank God that at least I am alive, but it is very painful. I'm still young, really young. I even kept asking myself when I was in the hospital, why me? Why suddenly me? Why did this happen? Then it happened that my mom looked for a prophet, and when that prophet came, and then the prophet started praying for me, I became a little bit better, but I use a wheelchair to this very day, but it is a little bit better. And then the prophet said that there is a man who used me. That prophet asked my mom if I had ever been placed in a coffin whilst I was still alive. I felt my heart banging so hard, and I was scared to tell them that there was once a man whom I had sex with, and I found out that there was a coffin in that room, and he paid me money. Since that year, my life, Brother Nashim, it has been terrible, and this happened after that sleepover. I'm not saying that everyone who dates Nigerian men is cursed, no, but this is my own story, and I really do not know where life is going to take me to. I regret that sleepover. I wish that I had never collected his money, because he bought my body. That is why he was patient with me. He never demanded for sex, and he offered me money that he knew I'll never say no to. Your dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our DM sister. Let us try to speak with our dear sister in the comment section. She is saying that she has a stroke. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. She was saying that she watches each and every episode that we post on the channel. She is always at home. She is bound to a wheelchair, and she used to be okay before that sleepover. If you have any story that you wish to share with us, please do not hesitate to contact us through TikTok or Facebook. Then there is another message that was sent to me by one of our DM brother, and the translation, it reads like this: hello Brother Nashi, how are you? Please post my story. I am a Zimbabwean man, and I am only aged 35 years old. First of all, I want to start by saying, South Africa, I appreciate you for everything that you have done to me. I came to South Africa when I was only 19 years old. I did not have any skill that I had. I was fortunate enough that there was a man who was a white man who saw me sleeping in the bush on his farm. He asked me, because it was raining that day, who I was. He thought that I was a thief, but I told him that I had walked all the way from Musina and I was in Vivo by then. He said, on foot, and I said yes. I was still very young. He then said, are you looking for a job? And I said, yes. He had some pigs that he was keeping at his farm. I started working, but what I liked about him was that he started to teach me a lot of stuff. He taught me how to drive tractors. He taught me how to use a forklift and even some big machines that they use in the mine, because he had a mine that he was working at. That is how I ended up being a diesel plant fitter. That skill that I have, it is scarce here, and it is not a lot of people that know how to fix some of these big machines that they use in the mines. The work is there, but the only problem is that I don't have any papers. My story, it is a very long story without wanting to waste people's time. I am an orphan. My father and my mother, they came from Malawi, and they started staying in the farm in Marondera. So I grew up without a birth certificate, but I was born and raised in Zim. After both of my parents had passed away, unfortunately, we were chased from the farm where we were staying. So most of the people from Malawi, they stay in the farms. And when we were chased by a Chinese company that wanted to use that farm, we did not know where else to go to. So I can't get papers even from Zim, because if we were staying in the villages, I could have gone and spoken with the village headman, and then they would assist us. So we just grew up at the farm. There is no village headman that can assist children like us to get birth certificates. So I don't even have an ID. I came to South Africa, started working, and I moved from the farm and I came to Joburg. I then got myself a South African girlfriend. We work together. Why we work together? She is the one that has papers. She has a license. We use a bank account. And when we go from one mine to another, she's the one that will be driving. And most of the times, we just work from home if there are things that need to be fixed. And life has been so good. Even though this story, I'm just trying to cut it so that you can be able to understand without me wasting too much of your time. We bought a Toyota GD6 together so that we can use it when we are traveling around, because I have to carry my tools. So we bought this car from We Buy Cars. This was our plan. We also have a son together. He is 2.5 years old. That boy is the only reason why I have not yet killed myself, because of what happened last year in December, brother. I don't know what else to do. I received a phone call this afternoon. There is this other person who works at this other mine. He's a subcontractor. They want me to go and fix some generators there, but I don't have the energy because of what happened in December. I have not yet started working. Right now we are in January 2026. Since December, everything has collapsed. When we went to We Buy Cars, the money was mine, but the money that we used to buy that Toyota GD6, it was coming from an account, because I don't have an account. I don't have any documents in Zim and in South Africa. And we used her account and her license and everything. My girlfriend then asked me and said, baby, I want to travel to the Eastern Cape. And I said, okay, it's fine. Here I'll be doing some work whilst you are gone there. She said that she is going to see family, a normal thing. Right now I am staying at her mom's house here in Joburg. This is where we have been staying. When I started dating her, she said, come, let us stay together. And I just thought that she is just going to see the other family members, because her mom passed away a long time ago. Then her phone went off. I did not panic at first. I said maybe she is busy, family time, you know. Days passed, Xmas passed, New Year. I started calling her relatives. They cannot tell me where my girlfriend is, but I know that she is there because she once posted on TikTok. I spoke with her. She did not respond. So that car, I think she wants that car and she does not want to return back to Joburg. Maybe she is already set up another company there in Eastern Cape. The FNB card, I can't do anything because the account we use for business, it is in her name. Even if I go to FNB, they can't assist me. And there was 100,000 rands that was in that account. I am crying each and every day. The GD6 is gone. The money is gone. Even when I try to open the FNB bank app, I can't use it anymore. And I think that she just changed the whole details, because this is like an account. I can't go to the police. I don't have any money. I do have some money that can sustain me until I do another job. Why I do not want to go and fix those generators, it is because when we file the invoices, she is the one that does everything. I can file those invoices, but it means that the money has to go to that same account. I don't know if the account is totally blocked. What is the story? What does she want me to do? Does she still love me, or she does not love me? I wish that I can just return back to Malawi, but my father and my mother, they never told me where they came from, and they also did not have any idea when it was open for people from Malawi to get Zimbabwean citizenship, because these were like people that never went to school. They stayed in the farms. They just thought that things were always going to be like that, working for the white people in the farms. Then you raise your children, they will also work on that same farm. So they never bothered when it was open to go and get your ID, even if you were from Malawi or Mozambique. But my parents, they never bothered. So I just grew up like that. I was their only child, does not have any relatives at all. I can't go to the police here because I am illegal. I can't go to the bank. The card is not in my name. I can't even go to a family, but I hope that we can speak, me and one of her other brother, who said what she is doing is not right. It is not right. You did not do anything wrong to him. So he is saying that we are going to have a conversation when I come to Joburg. He starts working on the 23rd of Jan. So I hope that I'll come back and I will tell you the story. But as for now, I really do not know what else to do. The process of getting another contract at the mine, it is going to be difficult, because the mine, it deals with the company that they have in their books, even though they know me personally, but they do not know that this is the status. Because if they know that I don't even have a birth certificate, I might not be allowed to enter into the premises of that mine. So my wife is the one who goes in front. She is the managing director, and I just stand by her side, but she cannot fix anything. Maybe she has gotten another contract there in the Eastern Cape. That is why she has chosen to dump me. The disadvantage of trying to upgrade your wife, I have upgraded my wife. She knows a lot about the work that I do, how we must run the company, how to source the contracts. I'm scared. I'm praying to God that she returns back. I'm just a foreign guy. Everything that has been keeping me standing all along is in her name. I feel stupid. I feel like I was used, and I really do not know what is it that I am going to do. Right now, there are emergency breakdowns. The mines are waiting. I can't go because I don't have papers on my own. Please, I need advice. What am I supposed to do? Should I bewitch her? Please help. I'll be following through in the comment section. I have imagined your suffering the way that I have suffered. All that I want from him is closure, to tell me the truth. Is she returning back to Joburg? Sometimes I feel like going to buy petrol. When I buy petrol, I put petrol in each and every room, and then I just put the petrol on my body. Then I burn myself so that it can appear on the news that there is a foreign guy who killed himself in the house that belonged to the mother of his South African girlfriend. But what is my son going to say growing up? I'm just staying strong by looking at the pictures of my son, but I need advice. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear brother right there. Let us try to speak with our brother in the comment section. If it was you, what were you going to do? Do you think that this sister of ours, wherever she is in the Eastern Cape, do you think that she have found someone else who is assisting her to get some contracts? Because if that is the case, then it means that our brother does not serve any purpose anymore in her life. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. If you are enjoying watching this episode, I kindly ask you to leave a comment as well as to like the video. If you have not yet subscribed, you can also hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you can get notified whenever we post a new episode. Let us move over to the next confession. The next confession that I have for you, it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my story as hidden identity? I am a Zimbabwean woman. I want to tell you the things that happened between me and my cousin sister. And these are the dangers of taking in someone who you are not related to by blood, because they can end up even stealing your husband. So this is my story. I started fighting with my husband back home in Zim. And then my cousin sister's mom was the one that called me so that I can stay with him, because I was being beaten by my husband almost on a daily basis. She then felt sorry for me and she sent word for me that I was supposed to run away from my husband. I literally had to walk for a very long distance, nearly 30 kilometers, coming from the village where I was deep in the rural areas of Mutoko. So you had to walk to get to the highway, almost 30 something kilometers on foot, with two of my children, one on the back and the other one. Sometimes you would get tired and I would lift her up. To those that know Mutoko, back in those days, like, it was just a huge forest. There were black mambas, there were pythons, there were wild animals. So I was just walking and praying to God that I was not supposed to be bitten by a snake or to be eaten by a leopard, because there used to be a lot of leopards that were eating people in the rural areas. I walked on my own until I reached the highway, and then by the grace of God, there was a car that stopped and I jumped into the vehicle. That is how I ran away from Mutoko, and I came back to Masvingo to stay with my cousin sister's mom. I stayed, and then I started talking with my cousin sister, who told me that she was staying in Pretoria and she had found a man that she was staying with, and she wanted me to come. I then came to South Africa and I started staying with him. And when I saw the way that she was being treated by her husband, I felt like she did not deserve to be taken good care of by her husband, because I considered myself to be much more beautiful than the way that she is beautiful. What did I do, brother? Since her husband sometimes would return back home, and my sister, she was always at work. She would go to work at 7 and return back at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. Her husband used to come maybe at 12, and then he will come back at 4. Whenever we were alone, I would go and wear a mini skirt, then we'll start to walk around so that her husband can look at me and he can lust after my body. One day we slept together, and then I lied that I was pregnant. That is how I got married. I went to this other Sangoma. Since this man was a South African man, I started to tell her a lot of stuff that were bad about my cousin sister's mom, that she was a witch and he was going to be bewitched. He believed my stories, but what he did not make sense of was that I was the one that was now going with him to the traditional healers, something that he had never done in his entire life. We went to a Sangoma. I was given some muti that is called slow poison. Whenever I would cook that food, I would put it into my cousin sister's plate, and she started to get sick, and then she had cancer in her stomach. She died in Zim. I was pregnant by then because the Sangoma had given me some charms so that my womb can quickly accept my husband's seed and he will make me to fall pregnant. I gave birth to a set of twins and he was happy, forgot about my cousin sister. That is how I got married, my brother. As for me, I don't even have a maid. I don't trust any woman to be in my house because I know what I did. Another woman can do the same to me. I make sure that any woman that tries to get close to my husband, it's either she goes 6 feet underground. I'm very protective of that. And this has not brought any peace in my heart, knowing that I entered into this marriage by killing my own cousin sister. I don't have any peace at all. If my husband speaks on the phone for too long, I can go and grab the phone just to see who is he talking to. Your dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear sister. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. Can you believe that? This is what she did. But she's saying that, please do not judge me. I am just giving you advice. Never bring any woman into your house because they'll end up stealing your husband. Do you believe that or not? Tell me what you think in the comment section. Let us meet again in the following episode. How many episodes do you want today on Saturday? You can tell me in the comment section.